Signed numbers. What are signed numbers? Signed numbers simply means the numbers may be either positive or negative. If a number is positive, it will either have a positive or a plus sign in front of it, or it will have no sign in front. If a number is negative, it will have a negative sign in front of it. There are rules that we use when we are doing math with signed numbers, and the rules we use depend on which operation we are doing. If we are going to multiply or divide two signed numbers, the rules are fairly simple. First, if the signs on both numbers are the same, we will get a positive answer. So a positive number times a positive number will give a positive answer. Likewise, a negative number times a negative number will give a positive answer. The rule is the same for dividing. A positive number divided by another positive number will give a positive answer. A negative number divided by another negative number will give a positive answer. If the signs are different, we will get a negative answer. Positive number times a negative number will give a negative answer. Of course, we can switch that around. A negative number times a positive number will give a negative answer. The same rule applies when we're dividing. A positive number divided by a negative number will give a negative answer, or a negative number divided by a positive number will give a negative answer. Unfortunately, the rules for adding and subtracting are a little bit more confusing. If the signs on the numbers are the same, we simply ignore the signs for a minute and add the numbers. On the final answer, we keep the same sign that was on the original numbers. Let's look at an example. If we want to add a positive 5 to a positive 3, we will add the numbers 5 plus 3 and get 8. Both numbers are positive. Our answer is positive. If I want to add two negative numbers, a negative 5 plus a negative 3, I'm going to ignore the signs for just a minute. I'll just add the numbers. 5 and 3 is 8. But then I need to decide which sign I'm going to put in front of the 8. Go back and look at the two original numbers. Negative. So my final answer has to be negative. That's not too bad. Where most students have trouble is when the signs are different. If the signs are different, first I ignore the signs for a minute and ask myself, okay, which number's bigger? Then I put the bigger number on top, the smaller number on the bottom, and subtract, just like we did in grade school. When I get the final answer, I go back to the original number and look at the signs. What sign did the so-called bigger number have? That's the sign I will use on my answer. Let's look at an example. Suppose I want to add a positive 8 to a negative 3. I have different signs. The 8 is positive, the 3 is negative. What is my answer going to be? Okay, I'm going to ignore the signs for just a minute. I have an 8 and I have a 3. What's bigger? 8's bigger, obviously. So let's put 8 on top and subtract 3 from 8. And I get 5. Okay, so I know I'm going to have a 5 in my answer, but is it going to be a positive 5 or a negative 5? Let's go back and look at the sign on the bigger number, which was 8. The bigger number is positive. My final answer will have to be positive. So my answer is positive 5. Okay, let's switch that around and take negative 8, add 3, positive 3. Okay, I have different signs. The 8 is negative, the 3 is positive. What is my answer? Okay, let's ignore the signs for a minute. 8 is bigger than 3, so 8 on top, subtract 3. Okay, I get 5. So we know 5 is part of our answer, but is it a positive 5 or a negative 5? Well, my bigger number is 8. What sign do I have on my bigger number? I have a negative on the bigger number, so my final answer has to be negative.